All right, I'd like to call the meeting of the Athletic Commission to order. We have 3 members present, and we have a quorum. I'd like to hand out the agenda for today's meeting. I'm sorry, there you go. That's for the judge. And the minutes. The minutes from the last meeting on January 12th. And before we get to a review and the acceptance of the minutes, I'll just acknowledge the presence of Les Benitez from the Department of State, who's our communications director. In addition, we have a new attorney, Ryan Nysac, who's with the Department of State and working and assigned to the Athletic Commission. We have Kim Sumbler, the project coordinator for MMA, Eric Bentley, the director of boxing, and we have some guests from HBO who are here for a presentation, and some members of the media present. Can we get everyone have a chance to review the minutes from the meeting of January 12th? Sorry.
Printed.
Any questions about the minutes?
None.
Nope.
Can we get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Moved out by Judge Torres
I second it.
and seconded by Commissioner Signorelli. All in favor of approving the minutes from the meeting on January 12th, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is we have the approval of a ringside physician application and discussion of pending legal matters, and for this we're going to have to go into executive session because of the privacy concerns and confidentiality concerns. Can I get a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
And a second?
I second it, please.
All in favor of moving into executive session, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay. We're going to go into executive session, so
Exit.
you guys need to, in Albany, can you please put your phone on, put that phone on mute? We can't hear you anyway, but make sure it's on mute. Oh, and I forgot to mention also that we have 2 staff person, Anthony Bazzafi in Albany, and our Excelsior fellow, J.J. Castriani in Albany, who are monitoring the meeting. So you have your meeting, you'll put it on mute, and we'll turn the camera. And we're going to have to ask our guests to also to just step outside. There's a
large conference room right here. If you guys want to get comfortable.
Can you want some water?
JJ's turning his camera away.
Yes, I do.
He's turning his camera away, not his camera, JJ, our camera.
Can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear us?
Okay, we're going to come back into regular session.
Are you on? You have to unmute. You did? Okay.
Can you hear us at all or no?
Do we need,
Guess not.
Ange on?
Ange?
I'm here.
Hello?
Chief,
Can I get a motion to go back into regular session?
make a motion to return.
Second.
All in favor of moving back into regular session, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And we're back in regular session now. And in front of the members, you have the application of Dr. Frederick Terraberry for ringside physician. Is there any discussion? Actually, we had the discussion in.
I read through the doctor's qualifications, very qualified. I recommend we
Second.
accept them.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Signorelli to accept Dr. Terraberry's application for ringside physician, seconded by Commissioner Torres. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We'll add Dr. Terraberry to our roster of ringside physicians. Next item on the agenda is the weigh-in policy. The weigh-in policy or procedure was originally, the current procedure was adopted back in 2014. Everyone should have a copy of the weigh-in bulletin from 2014 with some revisions. The revisions are related to the Buffalo event, frankly, that everyone is aware of. The revisions require and specifically state that combatants shall not make any physical contact with any object or person while they're on the scale, and it adds some other requirements which you can see, and I take any questions or a motion to approve at this point of a revised procedure for weigh-ins.
So moved.
I second it.
Any questions at all?
Nope.
Okay. So revised weigh-in policy was so moved by Commissioner Torres, seconded by Commissioner Signorelli. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. And we have the revised weigh-in procedures. Next item on the agenda is old business. Is there any old business to discuss?
Appears not.
No.
Okay. And new business, we have one item. We have some representatives here from HBO who have approached the commission. They've spoken to both Eric and me about a new ref cam. Pardon?
Indeed.
And Ndidi, actually.
Right.
Yes. They came in and talked to Ndidi. And I want to turn it over to John Crystal from HBO and his team to actually give a presentation on a new product. It's a ref cam that they'd like to introduce to the commission and take any questions.
Well, nice to see some of you again. Nice to see some of you for the first time. Thank you for having us. We were here a number of weeks back to discuss this new technology that we've been experimenting with some marked success, I think. But what we've been efforting to do for some time, and some of you have heard part of this, but starting back in like 2011, we've started experimenting with point-of-view cameras that we could fit to the referee in hopes of, kind of bringing a new, more accessy look to our coverage, complement the standard coverage that we've had for many, many years. I think it's a good value add. I think it's something that boxing fans and our viewership would certainly appreciate, and something that at least starts to bring us a little more up to speed with some of the other sports and the technologies that you see on all sorts of network television, where honestly they have the advantage of being able to sponsor some of these big ticket items and interesting technologies, and that's something on premium cable that we haven't had the luxury of doing. But so in 2011, we actually, the very first time we ever tried this, we hit a total home run, and we had Kenny Bayless wear a rig that we had kind of doctored up with some technicians that we work with, and we had it on him for the Amir Khan-Danny Garcia fight. For those of you who remember, Garcia landed a terrific counter left hook, had multiple knockdowns, and if anyone saw it, and I showed it when we were here last time, and I have it here, I can show it again, but we got a classic look at Khan kind of stumbling around, responding to the standing 8 count. You see Kenny Bayless's hands in front of him giving the count. It was just like a very interesting and out of the ordinary look, and since that point we've experimented with a number of different technologies trying to achieve the same result. And in the last few months, we stumbled into a company called First Vision, which is based in Barcelona, and they have what I think is by far the most clever and least intrusive rig that we've seen so far. And this is basically the entirety of their product. The other things that we've worked with in the past had additional battery packs and things like that that you'd be familiar with, like from the referee audio packs that we do. But this is like a totally self-contained unit. Slips over the referee's head. We have like a neoprene shirt that slips over this to help it secure to the body, although we also have additional kind of mechanisms to attach it to the body. We used it in Maryland this past weekend, and one of the referees had requested not to wear, kind of like a neoprene overlay that secures it, but he wanted straps to connect it to. So we've now developed some straps. So there's a number of ways that we could kind of secure this to the referee. We've used it in California a number of times with Jack Reese. We just had it approved and used it in Maryland. And in fact, and we also actually had it for the Bernard Hopkins-Joe Smith fight in December in California. And no, we don't have a great look from it of Hopkins flying through the ropes and out of the ring. But we've been working with this thing. We made some technological advances since the Hopkins fight in December. We have a much better performing lens in this at this point. And I'll show you a piece of the footage that we captured and actually rolled into the show this past Saturday night from the Alexander Usyk fight.
Can you pass that?
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to.
What type of lens is it? A fisheye or?
Well, we started with a fish
Come on
eye
up to the
back.
table.
Yeah, come on. Thank you.
Yeah. Ken is our production manager on the show. He's had the most back and forth with the vendor who provides this to us, and has a lot of technical background. So all the technical questions would best be directed towards Ken.
So wirelessly, through Bluetooth, whatever, you guys would gain the signal. Can anyone hack into the signal? Because we had a concern with that if we were ever going to get into electronic scoring. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, this is an
Can
RF
anybody-
signal, and it doesn't transmit very far. The transmitter, the receiver, is actually on the apron side. It's a box about this side. So it's point A to point B, from inside the ring.
It's not like a large thing.
No,
They
in
could.
fact, this past weekend, as soon as Bill Clancy, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he stepped out and moved about 5 feet from
Signal's
the ring,
lost?
it was gone.
Is that the real land?
Yeah, so
Let's see.
this is the section of the fight that we rolled in, and from our purposes, this is like a replay only camera.
Just move that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And pull it a little closer so we can see it if you don't mind. This is from this past weekend?
Yeah, this is from our first fight in the telecast this last weekend. But we think in moments like this, where a stoppage is under consideration, it becomes very interesting. I think for fighters receiving standing 8 counts or a count even on the canvas, maybe warnings. But there's a very specific, group of things that we think this is going to pay off for.
What do you feel that footage would be used for? You were saying with the
We
eight-
would replay it as like part of a normal replay sequence.
But you said with regards to the 8 count and everything. Why? What do you mean?
Just because when the fight is in the balance and it's all about the referee's determination, we think it's very interesting to go from outside the ropes with our normal coverage inside the ropes and give people that much more of an immediate feel for what the experience is.
How much of this footage did you use
You know,
on air?
this one, we happened to get like a long sequence where it was good, and we happened to have like a natural out, you know, just after the standing 8 count where the fighter like came to the camera and wiped everything. So in this particular instance, I think we rolled in probably about 35 seconds worth or so.
Wow.
But I think that's probably on the long side of what we'll see.
For any one sequence.
Right.
But you would use it, do you use it in all the fights or just the title
My
fight?
guess is, no, I think what we'll do is we'll be opportunistic with this. So where we have a good look and where something means something, we'd look to our ref cam. But, you know, it's the type of thing that'll be very circumstantial, you know.
You would look to the ref cam for what? A reference or just, you said if something was...
That we would look for it for those type of instances when a fight was in the balance, you know, if there's a long sequence of someone getting beat up on the ropes and a stoppage is under consideration.
But that's the HBO's for replay purposes?
Yes, replay purposes only.
And again, would you propose that all the referees, for all the fights, wear it? Or just the title bouts?
Our hope would be that all the televised fights would wear
All
it.
the televised fights, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real incentive on our end to outfit the undercard referee, the non-TV fights for this.
Yeah.
Any further
Do you
questions?
have any questions for them? And
No.
we'll,
Yeah, I mean, to me, and we talked about this a little bit, but last time I was here, to me, the challenge in kind of socializing this throughout the sport, in large part will fall to the individual referees. You know, oftentimes with technology like this, we've had commission approval, but had to pursue referee approval. You know, and the challenge there really is the way that this works, rather than being over their shirt, this lens ends up protruding through their shirt. So we actually have to do an alteration to the shirt that they're wearing to allow for the lens to poke through. And in those instances, we're very happy to reimburse for those shirts or, you know, or figure out a way to make it.
In a sense, it's peeping through the buttonhole.
Correct. Yeah, I think what
you
we've done
ultimately
in the
would want
past is
that.
we've like extended a buttonhole to
Correct.
allow for the camera. And if you want to, oh, this is.
Previously, they tried to impose a camera which was a pair of glasses, and for someone not wearing glasses, the referee, that happened in the past.
Right, no, or I think
This
that
is a
we may
nice
have
product.
experimented here in state with like a headband type device. I mean, that's all, that has its advantages and its, you know, like I think aesthetically it's a problem.
Well, the referee that never wore glasses has
Right,
something on his
this
head.
one, this is like pretty much invisible. I'll show you a picture of Jack Reese, who has worn it for us a number of times, fully outfitted. And, you know, so this is the full extent of what's visible. You know, so, I mean, the disadvantage of the camera being here, and I think it's far outweighed by the advantages of everything that comes with this being the full package, is, you know, it's not necessarily a viewpoint of what the ref is looking at. You know, glasses would tell you what he's looking at in a more consistent way than this, you know, because as we've observed, you know, a lot of times when the referee is doing his job, he's not square to the fighters. You know, so if the fighter's over here, the camera could very well be shooting nothing. You
But
know,
his head is viewing
as
the
he's
other way.
circling and watching over his shoulder.
Right.
You know, so what we found is at the moments when he's, you know, most engaged, you know, he'll square himself to the fighters, and those are the moments that we're kind of looking for.
A question with this: could you incorporate audio with this too?
It does record audio.
So now we're removing the battery pack like traditionally they always have for the microphone. I mean, it would less appliances on them. That's what
That's great. We're working on that technology.
that would be the logical thing to
We're
do.
pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's a little out of reach for us today to make that swap, but that's what we're looking towards.
To
in the-
incorporate
in
what,
the
a
future.
lens with the... I'm in the industry, I can help you with it. With
I
home
think
security, so that's...
what we'd like to do is, I think in what you're
It would be
suggesting
better.
is, would this allow us to eliminate the mic and
The battery pack
and the
that
audio
they're wearing.
pack?
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's the goal.
Instead of encompassing them with a lot of things, that would be a plus.
Right. No, and that becomes like, makes it a little more appetizing, to lose the belt pack and the wiring and everything else
But you're working
for
on it.
this.
Good.
Yeah, but I think that's an excellent point.
So question, have your reps that you've approached asked for compensation for this?
No.
No one's asked for compensation.
No. No, I mean, I mentioned last time I was here that the one time through, and we've kind of approached this in fits and starts as technologies emerge, we'll try this camera, that camera. The one time that did kind of emerge as an issue was here in New York. And we had attempted, this is years ago, I forget what card or what year, but both Steve Smoger and Benji Esteves had brought up the idea that they felt like they should be paid as cameramen.
Okay, we got the presentation.
Do you have any more questions, Commissioner?
No, but I think we need time to digest this and absorb this and make a determination at a future
Okay.
time,
Okay,
not at the
very good.
immediate juncture.
If
Right,
if
this
there's
is-
any other information you'd like to share with us, we'd be glad to look at
Oh,
it.
they've
in
made
terms
their
of
presentation.
any-
They are proposing this for the May 20th event
Correct.
at Madison Square Garden. So.
All right, we'll make a
Right.
determination.
And we had been in here, I don't know what it was, 5 or 6 weeks ago.
hmm
At that point, looking towards the Golovkin fight and also the, whatever was coming down the road.
Okay,
Okay.
that's it.
Proposing.
Okay.
Thank
All right,
you.
any other
Thank you.
questions, John or?
Well, actually, one other question.
Yeah.
So I know, you obviously want the big fights,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of for our reps to allow them an opportunity to get used to the product, maybe it's not necessarily on TV or something, but if they're doing an undercard, maybe they would wear it for another fight.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we're all based in New York, so I think it's easy to kind of, do this in smaller steps if need be.
Right.
And we're happy to kind of work with you to develop a comfort level where, where eventually we graduated to
Okay.
the telecast if that's what it takes.
Okay.
If one of the officials was in disagreement with you, what would we,
Disagreement with,
didn't want to wear it?
didn't want to wear it?
I mean, I think that's going to be.
That's the
It's going to
question.
come up to the commission's going to have to.
Yeah,
decide
I mean, look,
We'll just
how
certainly,
much authority.
certainly we're not
Just as the
forcing anyone to wear
Right,
anything. I
that's
think
right.
it's probably up to you guys to see how enthusiastic you are about it, and if you want to encourage your referees to wear it, or if you want to leave them, to their own devices to make a decision.
Okay.
We'll have to have a vote on it.
And our hope is that, as time goes by, we continue to get it on our fights on TV and socialize it better and better so people feel like it's, kind of more a part of the drill, and hopefully over time, the referees come to, at least know that there's, they'll be approached about this, and it's part of what we do.
I was there for both Bill Clancy and Jack Reese. We worked around their schedule. We approached them when they were ready. And after the fight, they both said this is the easiest, simplest thing they've ever had to do. I got a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah, no, and Jack Reese in particular has been a guinea pig for a lot of this stuff, both with us and others. And look, we've had some outings with Jack on some stuff that we were trying that I thought was very unsuccessful. But this has been performing very well, and we feel good about it, and feel like it doesn't get in the way of what the referee is doing in any way. And again, we think it's a value add for the telecast and for the fans at home. Any further questions or anything else?
No,
Thank you.
Okay,
Good
thank you.
job.
Is it best to follow up
You
with
can
you,
follow up
Tony?
with me, or you can follow up with Eric.
Okay.
Either one.
Great. Well,
Fine,
very
yeah.
nice to see you all again.
Thank you
so
for
much
coming.
for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Before we conclude, Eric, would you just discuss what we have coming up since we last met? Also, the events that we've had since our
I'm going
last
to wrap
meeting.
this up a while because I have an appointment.
Yep.
So since the last time we met, January 12th, we've had 7 boxing and MMA events. January 14th at the Barclays for boxing. February 11th at the Barclays for MMA. March was full of boxing. March 4th, 17th, 18th, and 24th in various locations throughout New York. And obviously this past weekend we had the April 8th event in Buffalo for MMA. Coming up the next 3 months, next Saturday, April 22nd, there's a boxing event at the Barclays Center. On May 18th, the Bell Entertainment is looking to bring back Broadway boxing to the Paramount Theater in LIU, Brooklyn. 2 days later, on May 20th, Top Rank is bringing Terrence Crawford versus Felix Diaz at the Madison Square Garden Large Arena. June 10th, Top Rank is coming back for Puerto Rican Day weekend. As of right now, it's at MSG Theater. And then June 24th, Bellator is bringing an MMA event to Madison Square Garden.
Is that their first here with us, Bellator?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh,
that'll
good.
be there first.
Welcome.
And they're in the big arena.
Yes.
Right?
What's the fight, the 20th of May?
That's Terrence Crawford and Felix Diaz at the Garden.
Oh, that's a good fight.
So that's the schedule as of right now, and we'll let you know if it changes, if anything gets pulled. I don't think at this point anything will be changed for May, maybe something for June. Any other new business to come before the commission?
I gotta go.
And if not, then do we have a motion?
Before we close,
Sure.
I just want to say, I know we're going to have some new commissioners coming on board soon. We don't know when. And sometimes commissioners come and go. And I've been here and I've seen a few of them leave. And you don't get an opportunity to say thank you. I just like to say, in case I'm one of the guys being replaced, I'm grateful for the opportunity with the state and the governor's nomination to serve as a commissioner. Well, I had opportunity.
That's- okay.
You don't get a chance.
Okay.
They're out the door and you never hear from them again.
Okay.
So I just want to express that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Signorelli. All in favor of adjourning? Say aye. Aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Nay. Nay.